The route of the Exe Valley Way starts in the south at Starcross, up through Topsham, Exeter, up to Bickley, through Tiverton, through Bampton, Exbridge, Thorverton and out onto the wilds of Exmoor. The third section starts as we leave Exeter. It heads up through Cowley Bridges, then up to Branford Speak, through the valley following the River Exe, up to Thorverton, over two quite high hills, and then down into Bickley. Well, we're leaving Exeter and we're having to walk alongside this busy road at the moment. We have about a best part of a mile to do this, and shortly we'll have to cross the Cowley Bridges. Not a pleasant experience. Well, we've reached Cowley Bridges. There are two bridges, one over the railway and one over the river. And here we have to walk along the main road. There's no footpath and it's quite a busy road. It's probably one of the worst bits of walking we do around here, but it is signposted. It is signposted as the Exe Valley Way. So this particular piece, we're going over the railway. To the right is the main line up to Taunton, to the left is the branch line to Barnstable and Oakhampton. Now down here there is no footpath, and you can see the size of the vehicles approaching. I've put on a bright yellow tabard for this bit. I know how dangerous it is. But unfortunately, there's very little alternatives for the pedestrian. This is the short bit, so we're okay here. There's traffic coming, but we should make. If I look over the bridge, part of the River Exe. Careful driver moving out a bit. We're okay here, we're actually on a pavement, although the undergrowth is making it rather narrow in places. Normally I'd get my secateurs out and cut the brambles back here, but I don't like this bit of road. I think it's very dangerous, so I'm not going to loiter. You can see the continuous stream of traffic. We've now got to walk in the road in a minute. Now this is the really bad bit. Drivers are coming over the brow of the bridge. Now we're out on the bridge here. You can see the big house up there, Cowley House, and the River Exe as we pass over. We're lucky at the moment, we've got a break in the traffic, which usually means the next car comes rather more quickly. Plenty of space there. We've got a tractor now, usually driven by teenagers. Well, we've been lucky this morning, thank goodness. I have been passed by 40-ton lorries on this stretch previously, and it's not a pleasant experience. We've reached the narrow pavement. We've moved on a quarter mile along this busy road, and now we're going to take a right down this lane. But again, take care on this short section of a lane. Some of the cars come down here briskly. You need to have your wits around you. and then we'll get off onto the country paths. At this point we're crossing a bridge over, I think I'm right in saying that's the River Creedy, as in Crediton. We pass over the Barnstable and Oakhampton line once more. Finally, after just over 2 miles from the city centre of Exeter, we're leaving the roads and traffic behind us, and we're going up onto country paths and lanes, and this is a track up to a farm and a large house. The footpath takes us round the outskirts of farm buildings. The path now heads alongside these fields. Over there between us and the hill lies the River Exe, a railway line and a road, and we're following this track up here. As we follow the path, we come to this stone mounted. It's all been cleared around it. Normally when I come along here, this is completely overgrown. I'm not quite clear what that stone commemorates. It looks as though it was a cross originally. It has the remains of possibly arms either side of it. Over there is remains of an old tree that came down in the winter storms. Looking at the size of it, it's probably 200 years old. We're heading across farmland. That's one of the farmhouses over there. And our track continues in this direction. We're coming up to 4 miles from the centre of Exeter, walking along this quiet country lane. I've not seen any traffic or any persons. It's just quiet and peaceful and just bird song as I walk. At 4.5 miles we've entered the pretty village of Branford Speak. The trail takes us off to the right here and down through the churchyard, but if you continue up this lane you can take a right and meet the track again. There is a pub down there. If you're here at lunchtime it could be a good stop for refreshments. We're heading down to the church. Just outside Brampford Speak we cross the river again. We're now on the route of the old railway. This was closed in 1963. You can see a sign here, leads up to Station House. Very beautiful spot. I'm just following this farm track for a half a mile, maybe a mile. Easy walking. Well, here's one of those annoying things you get on these walks. The footpath is clearly marked both on the map and with a finger post to go directly across this field, and yet it's been planted out with some sort of green vegetables and the path completely buried and hidden from sight. We just have to wade our way through the crop. Now I don't like doing this. The farmer doesn't like me doing this. Why the hell doesn't he leave a path through the field? We will not be deterred. Well, we've fought our way across this field. Not been easy going. Why do just occasionally farmers let the whole side down for being so careless or so bloody minded? Anyway, I've reached the other side of the field, and as the map and the finger post indicated, the path continues. Here is the stile, and the track continues the other side. Well, we've now entered another field. This one's got quite a lot of cattle in it. There shouldn't be a problem. If you had a dog with you, you need to keep it on the lead, but otherwise I don't think there's an issue here. Well, I'm certainly something of interest to them. They're all very young bullocks. Well, they followed me across the field. I'm just heading to a gate on this side. But they're all young, they're all very curious. I've even got a deputation waiting at the gate. Well, that's it, we're through the gate. They just seem curious. I don't feel any aggression from them. They're just interested to see this strange being walking across their field. Well, the next field appears to be potatoes, but there is a bit left here uncultivated on the left hand side, which is our path. I'm happy with that. I'll have to get past this automatic watering machine down here. It's going around in different directions, and we'll have to time our walk past it very carefully if we're not going to get soaked. Well, that wasn't too bad following that path. According to the GPS unit, we were 50, maybe 100 yards off the regular path, but he had left us a route through his crop, so we'll accept that. The next field we enter has a very clear path, has a crop. I'm not an expert. Is that wheat with the ears? Somebody will tell me. And just on my left here is the River Exe. Very peaceful, very still. At 7¼ miles we've reached the road that leads to Thorverton, and there's a stylish bridge where the road crosses the River Exe. You can hear the sound of a weir just down here below the trees. And from the bridge you can see the Exe wending its way down towards the sea. At Thorverton there's a little bit of road walking. It has its own pub, the Thorverton Arms. Some pretty cottages. A very substantial parish church. And a war memorial with far too many names listed on it. Well, heading up the lane out of Thorverton now, and between here and Bickley we're following little country lanes all the way. A couple of sharp hills to be This is the lane we're following. We've just been over a peak, and the road now goes down the hill, bends up to the right and goes right over the highest point you see ahead. Well, we've reached the top of that hill and we have panoramic views all around Mid and South Devon. Just stupendous. And here's the house you would have drawn as a child. A square box, 4 windows, 1 at each corner, front door in the middle, and a chimney at one side. All it's missing is the smoke coming out of the chimney. More panoramic views. It's a warm welcome. Look at that tail going. Come on in. Come on in. Come on. Oh, who's afraid of who then? Come on. Come on. There he goes. We're coming up now to Bickley Castle. Rather a grand name for what was actually a fortified house. Traces of the house date back to the 11th century, although most of it is 15th century. Just 500 years or so old. It's now used primarily as a very upmarket wedding venue. Apparently you can get tours around the castle, but you have to pre-book them. There are no open days as such. Well, we're coming into Bickley, and shortly we'll be crossing the River Exe again. This is the River Exe as it flows through at Bickley. On the other side is a very popular pub, the Fisherman's Cot. And that's the Exe flowing down towards the sea. And this is from the bridge looking upstream. I'm going to leave you there. That's 13 miles from Exeter to Bickley. Glorious day, wonderful walking. I'll see you on the next section.